Well, I'm welcoming you all, my dear students, to our English class for class 5 with me, Miss Villiers from Mount Sinai High Secondary School. We have done 3 stories and a poem. Today I've picked up a story again because I'm sure you all enjoy listening to stories. And so the story that we are going to do today is The Lady with the Lamp. I repeat, The Lady with the Lamp. I want all of you to get hold of your books right now because we will read the first paragraph together. Get ready with your books. Our story will be from page number 35 to page number 37. Page number 35 to page number 37 of your English 1 textbook. We will read the first paragraph together. The rest, we will not be reading everything, but I want you to read along with me so that we will also improve our reading skills. Here we go. The lady who brought hope to the depressed, relief to the wounded and the injured, the comfort to the dying was Florence Nightingale, the pioneer of modern nursing. Fondly called the lady with the lamp by the suffering soldiers, Florence Nightingale lit the lamp of service which was the beacon of light in the darkness of despair. That is our first paragraph. And so we are going to discuss about a lady called Florence Nightingale, who was also called as the lady with the lamp. We will discuss into detail why she was called so. But before going into the details, I would like all of you to remember a few words which you will find it difficult to understand when we go through the story. The first word will be beacon. Here the word beacon will stand for an inspiration in the darkness. When everyone is losing the hope, the lady came up with an idea, and so she was called the beacon in the darkness. And you will also come across the word yearning. Yearning here means longing for something. When you want to have something, that means you are yearning for something. And so that is the meaning for it. Pioneer means a person who is the first or among the first to start something. If there is a school set up in your village, a new school, there will be some members coming together. So those people will be called as the pioneers of that school. And here we will also see why she is called a pioneer, because she pioneered the nursing system. We will get into all those details. You will also come across a word called ordeal. Ordeal here means the difficulties that you face or that anybody faces in life. She will also come across a lot of difficulties, and so that is why the word ordeal is used. We will be discussing about the lady with the lamp, who is none other than Florence Nightingale. She was born in the year 1820. Florence Nightingale was born in the year 1820. And to discuss the story in detail, what I want all of us to know is, I'm sure you have heard of the word nurse, or some of your aunties or your mothers might even be a nurse right now. So you know what a nurse do, right? So nurses are the ones who take care of the sick people along with the doctors. There are so many people who work in the office, but when you go to a hospital, since you are sick, we usually go to the doctors first, and when the doctors prescribe the medicine, the doctors will examine your sickness, and then later on the nurse will come with the medicine. Sometimes they will even bring injections. See, during our younger days, we don't like injections, right? Even at this age, we all feel scared when we are going to be injected. But you also know that because of the injections and the medicines that we take from the nurses, we get cured, we get healed. If you are suffering from fever or from any other kind of diseases, you don't like when you are going to be injected, because when you see the needle, we all feel scared. But you also know deep inside that because of these medicines, you can be healed, you can get better from your sicknesses. That is what we all know. And every one of us respect nurses, right? We all respect the nurses because we know they work for our health. Even if we have a lot of money, even if we have so many things in our home, if you are sick, you don't enjoy anything. You may want to eat a lot of sweets, a lot of chocolates, but the day you become sick, you don't even want to have any of such things. And in those moments, you want the nurses to come and give you the medicines. You want the doctors and nurses to come and do what is necessary for your health. And so Every one of us in our society, we respect the nurses a lot. Even in this situation, when everybody is scared of the disease, we know that the nurses and the doctors are working without resting because they want the society to be healthy. And that is the reason why we respect the nurses a lot. But in the olden days, what I want you to know is, in the olden days, nurses were not respected because nobody wants to do the work of the nurses. We all know that they have to go and clean the wounds of somebody. If there is a sickness or if there is a sick person, nobody wants to go and touch. But nurses will go there first, and then they will have to look after the patients. You know, even when you are dirty, the nurses still come and treat you, isn't it? When you go to a hospital, or even if you have not gone to a hospital for your sicknesses, you might have visited the hospitals where there are people who are sick and they don't keep themselves very clean. Still then, the nurses are there to come and do those works. And so, in the olden days, nobody wants to become a nurse. They consider these works to be dirty, not very good. And only some people who are from the poor family will come up for this work. Their salary is very less. They were paid only a few amount of money. And that is the reason why nobody wants to take up the work of nursing, and they consider their works to be unclean. And very truly, the nurses are never well trained, so they are also not very clean themselves, and nobody respects she. What I want all of us to know here is, even in the classroom, when there is a dirty student, nobody wants to sit near that person. I'm sure you have experienced this kind of things. Teachers will tell them to come in clean uniforms. Teachers will tell them to get a good bath and come to school. All these are the things we do because we want everybody to be clean. But in the olden days, nurses were never clean. They were considered to be dirty people. And nobody respects a person who is in this profession. That means in the profession of nursing. But there is a girl, a young girl called Florence Nightingale, who was worried about when she saw the patients, when she saw that people from the war. See, when there is a war, we all know that people will be wounded, there will be injuries. You have to go and look after the patients. These are the things that we have to do. And Florence Nightingale was worried for these people. And she wanted to take up the profession of nursing. But her parents did not want her to go to that profession. See, when you grow up, you will also face this kind of situation. Sometimes you want to go for a particular job, but maybe the parents will want you to go to some other fields. Even in the present day, you might have seen in your family members, or even with you, you may be saying that you want to become a pilot one day, but who knows, your father or your mother may want you to become a doctor. This is what we always face in our day-to-day life. Since you are still a young boy and a young girl, you may not know all this very well, but when you grow up, when you reach class 9, 10, your parents might start deciding. Not all parents are same, but sometimes parents will want you to go to some other field and you want to take the other profession. And so the same thing happened with Florence Nightingale. Because she wanted to take up nursing. She is from a well-to-do family, from a rich family. And in those days, people from rich family never come to work as a nurse. Because those work are considered to be for people from the poor background, for the people who are not very well trained. Nurses in the present day, they go for a lot of trainings. You might have heard of it. Or if you haven't heard of that, nurses will go for 2-3 years training. And even after that, there will be some special training given to them. And so that is the reason why we respect the nurses a lot. But here, in those days, no proper training was given. So how can we trust a person who is not well trained, isn't it? I'm sure you will not want to get injection from a person who is not very well trained. They might give injection in the wrong place. Or it might be too painful. It might be dangerous for you also. And that is the reason why they don't want to let their children to become nurses. Florence Nightingale was from a very well-to-do family, from a very rich family. Parents are well educated. She is well educated. And she has all the things that she wanted in her life. And parents really wanted to stop her from carrying this dream. We all have a dream, see? If you are dreaming to be a pilot, continue dreaming, that's fine. Or if you want to be a farmer, that also is a good profession. You can go for that. But if you have a dream, you can do that work well. There are some people who go and work in some profession which they do not enjoy. But because they have to get a job, they get settled in those jobs. But Florence Nightingale did not want to become a person like that. She wanted to go on with her dream, but parents were against it. So what the parents did to prevent her from becoming a nurse was they sent her to Rome with her friends to travel around the world and enjoy her time so that she will forget the idea of becoming a nurse. This is what her parents had done to her. And so these are the things. She had been traveling around Rome with her friends. They were usually from England. Okay, they were from England, but her parents sent her to Rome with her friends so that she can enjoy with her friends. She can have a look around the world, and also she will forget the dream that she had to become a nurse. They did not have any other purpose of sending her out. They just wanted her to forget the dream that she had. But when she came back, after traveling, she came back, and in the year 1845, the Crimean War was going on. See, the Crimean War is a war of Russian with some other group of countries. I'm sure by class 5 you might have heard of Kalinga War, right? There are some kinds of wars that had names. So, like that, the war was called the Crimean War. And here in the year 1845, when Florence Nightingale came back, there were a lot of injured soldiers. When, obviously we all know, when there is a war, there will be a lot of injuries. There will be people who were injured. And these are some things that she saw. And then her heart began to feel for these people. She felt sorry. And she felt that this is the call of God for her. She felt that God wanted her to be in the service of humanity, not because she wanted to earn money, but because she wanted to help the people who are suffering. That was the reason why she wanted, and she was able to persuade her parents this time. That means she was able to convince her parents that she can become a nurse. Finally, the parents also agreed because they saw that their daughter really wanted to become a nurse and serve humanity, even though they thought that this work is a dirty work and they did not want her to join this service. But after they had a lot of discussions, so we see that she is really determined. Sometimes even at home, you might have some disagreements with your parents, with your father, with your mother, or with your elder brothers and sisters maybe. But instead of quarreling, if you just try to sit with them and let people know what you really think about, they will also come to understand. You may think you are still a young boy, a young girl, and so parents will not listen to you. I'm telling you, I'm requesting you, don't think in that way. If you are able to talk to your parents, letting them know what you think about that particular idea, they will also understand what you are trying to let them know. And so in this way, things can be settled. She did not just get angry with her parents, but she began to discuss things with her parents, and parents agreed. She was born in the year 1820, and by the year 1845, she became a nurse. But that means in her 25th year, when she was 25 years old, she became a nurse. And she really began working for the welfare of the injured as well as the nurses. Because nurses were not well trained, she did not want the nurses to be like this. If the ones who are taking care of the sick people are not well trained, how can they take care and how can they give good service to those people, isn't it? And so the same thing she thought. She also tried to bring some more trainings. Since she's from a good family background, she might have a lot of help from people around also because they understood what she really wanted to do. And when she got into this work, the soldiers who were injured liked her because she was serving them continuously. And especially when you are sick, if the nurses or anyone who comes and look after you, if they are very rough in their words, if they are not careful with the work that they are doing, it will be a very difficult thing. But she was not a person like that. She will come, speak to the wounded soldiers carefully. She will speak to them politely and dress their wounds. If you have a cut, imagine. If somebody just come and rub that wound in a very careless manner, you will not like it. And so she was not a person like that. Even at midnight, she will hold the lamp and go to the rooms. This is not written in our story, you will not find it, but I'm just adding some extra information about this. She would hold a lamp. You know what is a lamp, right? In the present day we have the electrical lamps, and so she will hold the lamp, go to their rooms and see how they were doing even in the midnight. And so the soldiers called her the lady with the lamp. They liked her and they liked her service. Even when you are on your sick bed, you always want to be with someone who talks to you carefully, who talks to you politely. And so she was doing those things to the soldiers, and they gave her the name, the lady with the lamp. And so after her entry, after she became a nurse, the field of nursing was improved. Earlier, it was considered to be a dirty job. There are some works that we all don't want to do, isn't it? If you think about it, I will not be mentioning jobs, but even the works of nurses were considered to be like that. After Florence Nightingale came, she brought some changes in this. She brought some reformation in the service of the nurses, and then the nurses were now well trained, they were cleaner, and the service they give to the wounded people were better. And so everybody liked it. And so that is why she is considered to be the modern day pioneers, modern day nursing pioneers. She will not be the only one, but because of her effort, things were able to change. And that is the reason why she is called one of the pioneers of the modern day nursing. And in this, we have got to know that since she had a dream, she began to follow. She did not get disappointed because people told her that was a dirty job. But she began to go. So what I want all of us to know here is, even if people say so many things about your dreams, you might be wanting to be a farmer right now. Okay, very good. You can achieve your degrees, learn something about agriculture. You can even go for agricultural studies, and you can become a very popular farmer, a very good farmer, because we know that farming is also a very good activity. People may think that educated people don't go for farming. Even if they say that if you really think you can do well in this field, I want you to follow your dream, like Florence Nightingale did. And in the year 1907, she was awarded the Order of Merit. That was an honor, an award given to an award given for the good works that one does. And she was one of the first lady to receive that award. Because in those days, ladies do not get this kind of award much, but she was given this Order of Merit because she had done a very good service. You know what is merit, right? Even in your class, you want to be called the merit student. And so this is the reason why I'm requesting each and every one of you, if you have a dream, follow that. People may laugh at you, but try to discuss with your parents, with your elders, and then they will guide you more. Just don't keep following because you like it. You get more information about that particular job and then go for it. And like Florence Nightingale, she wanted to serve humanity. We can all serve humanity in our own ways. Even though you are still a kid now, you can still serve humanity. If you see some old people around you, they are weak, and their strength is not like the strength that you have. So you can go and help them. If you are a person living in the village, go and help that old fellow, that elderly grandma or the grandpa that is living around your house. You can help them by fetching water for them. You can even help them by sweeping their rooms. These are the services to humanity that we all do. Like Florence, you all may not become a nurse like Florence Nightingale, but if you have the heart to serve humanity, these are the works that we all can do. And there are so many works that you can do, that you and I can do, but you have to do it with a good purpose in your mind. If you are just doing it to earn a good name for yourself, that is not going to help each and every one of us. So what we have learned from this story, from the story of the lady with the lamp, is that if you have a dream to serve humanity, go for anything. Or if you have a dream which you think you can achieve, I want you to follow that. Discuss with your elders, with your parents, so that your dream will be a successful one. Florence Nightingale did not just get angry and run away from home to do this work. She was able to convince her parents, putting her ideas. And from here, I want to request all of you to follow whatever you have in your mind. If you have the heart to serve humanity, please go for that. And also not forgetting to keep in touch with your books. I will meet you in the next class again. Thank you for listening to me patiently. Until then, have a good time.